along, but I noticed in her faces so much change already. And you know there's more change to come. Maybe wait, maybe with
This is the traffic light that they manipulate. The DPS trooper that's down around the fence here. He'll keep it red for a long period of time, hoping that I'll try to run the light. And then when I'm a few cars back, he'll cycle it very quickly until I'm the first one up. And then he'll pause it and keep it red. So we're in a school zone. You see my speed is under 20 miles an hour. You see them speeding away. I'll stay at 20 until we get to this speed sign here. Now I can accelerate. And I'll stay just under 40 miles an hour since that's the speed limit here. I've seen police every day on this street since Michael started at the Clay Road Baptist School. I've only had 2 of them so far try to set little traps for me. Don't see any police today so far. There we go. There's one right there. See him? Watch our speed very carefully. Again, speed limit is 40. I'm doing about 38. I think it's just a matter of time before they try to pull me over, as their other plans have fallen through and they're running out of options. So they're going to try to shake me up through intimidation. But if they do that, then I'll be forced to do a counter move, which will be putting a huge plywood sign on my truck telling Shell, MetLife, and the Episcopal Church to back off, to call off their crooked cops, private investigators, their informants, to stay out of my house, stay out of my car, take your GPS off my truck, quit eavesdropping on my phones, quit following us around, harassing us. So they can go ahead and pull me over, but that'll be the end of playing Mr. Nice Guy and just trying to fit into society and lay low. I'll have to start speaking out. You see, the Nazis had the Gestapo, but the Nazis had to pay them actual money, and it was their job, and you know, they had limited resources, especially as the war went on. The Soviet Union had the KGB, and again, it was just a job to those guys, and they had to pay them in, you know, whatever value those rubles were. So those were limited resources again. But see, America has something better than any of them. America has an army of informants, and they blend right into America, the American population. These informants are paid with the unlimited resources of the Federal Reserve's ability to print money. This is something that Nazi Germany and Communist Russia did not have. So these informants are well paid, and this money is tax-free. It's cash, and it's just given out like candy with incentives built in to destroy people like me who might have a lawsuit against a major corporation. Some of them you can tell by their cars. The average informant drives a small sedan, usually used, and the sedan is usually identified by a lack of hubcaps. And this lack of hubcaps can be in any combination. For instance, in the Memorial City area of Houston, in that neighborhood, the informant will usually drive a small four-door sedan with the hubcap missing off the front passenger side. And you might ask, well, why in the world would they do that? Well, see, a lot of information gathering is done in the wee hours of the night, and in order to remain identifiable to the police, in case, you know, a neighbor or someone becomes suspicious of the informant, they have to be identifiable some way to the police. So when the police sees the car, he knows that that's an informant of that area. So like I said, in the Memorial area, if a policeman sees a small sedan with a hubcap missing off the front passenger side, he's more likely to leave that vehicle alone, even if it's been called upon as a suspicious vehicle. And then in other areas of the city, you may have all hubcaps missing, or, you know, one or two. It just depends on the area and what they've worked out with the police on that beat. I found it very hard to believe that the police were involved in doing such a despicable thing to people on disability. But when you're on disability, you're guilty until proven innocent. And they are constantly waiting to yank that rug out from under you for the sake of money and for the sake of protecting corporations. If your disability can be in any way tied to your employer, then heaven help you, because they have every intention of using every means possible to thwart any potential lawsuit. And in my case, since my disability is due to an anxiety disorder, I'm technically legally not in my right mind, which means that in most precedent cases that I don't have a statute of limitations imposed upon me. In Texas, for instance, if you were molested as a child, you have 30 years from your 18th birthday to file against your molester. And if you don't, then the statute of limitations runs out on you. And if you're someone like me, where you buried it deep into your psyche and you didn't ever want to look at it again, that can really work against you, because most kids are abused at about their pre-teens. From your 18th birthday, you're into your 40s. That's about the time that people start suffering their breakdowns from things that happen to them. And sure enough, I was in my mid-40s by the time I confessed and came to the realization that most of what happened, most of my inability to cope, was from the molestation and the other abuse that I suffered at the hands of my brother and my mother and Father Thompson, and various other people that were associated with them, and not to mention a sexual attempted assault at my junior high school when the coach left the gymnasium. And these things really messed up my ability to cope with people. I get angry real easily. But the crooked cops and the private investigators and the informants don't care about that. They just care about collecting their cash. I am there's like a bounty on my head. But it's not just me, it's anyone on disability. There's a bounty on your head, and they're looking to collect. And they don't care who they use or how they destroy a family. Anyone with a money problem in a family, they will recruit that person. It can be a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, a son, anyone, a friend, a neighbor. Anyone who wants to collect that bounty on your head is fair game to them, and they will use them. This is a very, very wicked thing being perpetrated against the people of America, and all for corporate profit, to maintain that profit, to maintain that pyramid scheme. If you're not part of the pyramid, if you don't get to make it up to CEO and get your millions and jillions of dollars of bonus money, then you're just nobody. Doesn't matter whether you suffered chemical exposure or serious injury or any of that business. The police and anybody else are the enforcers for the company. They will use thugs to intimidate you. For instance, I'm going to show you film of the police utilizing their helicopter to fly over our house, and they do this repeatedly. Today it was 3 times. 3 times they flew over the house. I can only assume it's because of the locks. We put new locks on that don't have keys. Learned hard lessons about lock bumping and how they have gained entrance into the house before. And then we changed out to bump-proof locks made by Medico lock company, but they simply got around that because, see, Medico doesn't send you the lock directly. They send it to the city locksmith, and then the city locksmith from there, of course, he's going to advertise out which houses have these bump-proof locks. And if you're on disability, well, guess who's going to get those keys to your lock set? And they just walk in your house just like they just let themselves right on in. So you basically have to put a private property, no trespassing, keep out, but they're still going to come in, you know. So now I've changed out those locks to keyless locks, and they're mechanical combination locks. And so I'm going to see if I can force a break-in, because that will help me. You might say, well, you know, how does that help you? Well, see, my wife does not want to move. I want out of our neighborhood because they've recruited a large clan in our neighborhood to participate in the surveillance. And see, there's that same one. And I want out of the neighborhood. I want to move on to some acreage that I can fence in and better control who's entering the property. That way I only got to deal with crooked DPS troopers, crooked sheriffs, and crooked game wardens. So that'll reduce it quite a bit. I'll be getting rid of any center point electricity with their spy meters. Go all solar and wind generated electricity and propane appliances. Reduce the electrical footprint as much as possible. You might say, well, what are you trying to hide? Well, I'm not trying to hide anything. It's just that there's a thing called privacy, and it's very difficult for me to deal with what happened to me with, you know, just as it is. Much less with somebody got their ear in my bedroom and their ear in my phone and, you know, watching everything I do on the internet, watching everything I watch on TV, and it's just a pain in the rear. You might, you know, at first I guess I really didn't mind it. It's like somebody said, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, what do you care? But you live in a fishbowl like this for several years, and it just starts wearing on you. And you know, they're just waiting for any kind of so-called slip up, and they'll be there to yank those benefits out from under us. And you know, my son has a learning disability. He needs the schooling that he's getting right now, and it's very expensive. And I'm pretty sure my working days are over. So, well, we made it home safely. Another day. More tomorrow.